In 1901, divers off the coast of Antikythera made a discovery that would change our view of history. Among ancient statues and jewelry, they found a corroded lump of metal. At first glance, it seemed insignificant. But as researchers began to examine this mysterious object, they realized they were holding something extraordinary. The Antikythera Mechanism, as it came to be known, was about to reveal secrets of ancient Greek technology that no one had imagined. What exactly was this strange device, and how could it have existed in a time we thought was technologically simple? Let's find out. Picture this. It's 1900, and Greek sponge divers are exploring an unfamiliar area off the coast of Antikythera. As they descend into the crystal-clear waters, they spot something unexpected, an ancient shipwreck. The seafloor is covered with incredible treasures, from marble statues to bronze artifacts that have somehow survived centuries underwater. But among all these priceless finds, there's this one unassuming, corroded lump. It's covered in sediment and looks like it could be just another rock. The divers collect it along with everything else, but it sits unnoticed for months. Nobody gives it a second glance. Then one day, something strange happens. This mysterious lump starts to split apart. And what's inside? It's definitely not what anyone was expecting. Instead of more corrosion or maybe some fossilized sea life, there are these intricate metal pieces. We're talking gears, wheels, and inscriptions that nobody can make sense of. Now, you've got to understand how crazy this is. The researchers examining this stuff are used to ancient pottery and statues. But this looks like it belongs in a clockmaker's workshop, not an ancient Greek shipwreck. They're scratching their heads, wondering if somehow this modern-looking gadget got mixed up with the ancient artifacts. So what could this strange object be? And why does it seem so out of place among the other treasures? The researchers are baffled. They've never seen anything like it from the ancient world. It's as if someone dropped a smartphone into a medieval castle. It just doesn't fit with what we thought we knew about ancient technology. After careful examination, they realize they're looking at something truly unusual. This corroded lump is actually an incredibly complex mechanical device. They start calling it the Antikythera Mechanism, named after the island near where it was found. But even with a name, the purpose of this mysterious contraption remains elusive. Is it some kind of navigational tool, a fancy calendar, or something even more advanced that we can't even guess at? As word spreads about this perplexing discovery, researchers from around the world are intrigued. It's clear that unraveling the secrets of the Antikythera Mechanism isn't going to be easy. But one thing's for sure, the quest to understand this ancient device has begun, and it's about to challenge everything we thought we knew about the technological capabilities of our ancient ancestors. Remember that feeling when you find an unexpected treasure? That's what discovering the Antikythera Mechanism was like for historians. This ancient device was so advanced, it made experts question everything they thought they knew about technology from that era. The gears inside this mechanism are something else. We're talking about precision-engineered components with teeth smaller than a pencil lead. Imagine crafting something that tiny and precise over 2,000 years ago. It's hard to wrap your head around, isn't it? And there's more. The mechanism uses epicyclic gearing, gears within gears, to calculate the moon's complex motion. Here's the kicker. We didn't fully understand how the moon moved until much later in history. So how did these ancient engineers figure it out? This isn't just a case of a few well-made gears. The entire system is so intricate that it's forced experts to completely re-evaluate what they thought ancient Greeks could do. We're talking about engineering skills that weren't supposed to exist for another millennium. Researchers had to examine every tiny piece of this corroded lump using advanced imaging techniques. With each new detail uncovered, the mystery deepened. What was this device used for? After years of study, they reached a stunning conclusion. The Antikythera Mechanism is the world's first known analog computer. It could predict astronomical events with incredible precision, tracking the movements of the sun, moon, and planets. But the questions don't stop there. Who built this incredible device, and why? We're dealing with a level of technological sophistication that seems completely out of place in the ancient world. The search for answers is challenging everything we thought we knew about ancient technology and the people behind it. Let's see where this mystery takes us next. Our journey through history reveals a paradox. The Antikythera Mechanism, more complex than anything seen for the next 1,000 years, emerged from a civilization without mechanical clocks. How? The answer might lie with an ancient Greek inventor whose identity remains hidden. This creator combined deep astronomical knowledge, precision engineering, and mathematical genius. They understood celestial movements, calculated complex gear ratios, and crafted tiny interlocking metal pieces. The device's sophistication outstrips other Greek technology of the time, raising questions about its origins. Some researchers point to famous Greek scientists like Archimedes or Hipparchus. Cicero mentioned Archimedes created devices tracking celestial bodies, while Hipparchus developed advanced theories about lunar motion. The Antikythera Mechanism seems to incorporate these ideas. But maybe we're thinking too small. What if this represents a whole tradition of mechanical devices in ancient Greece? Old texts hint at similar gadgets. It's possible the knowledge and skills were refined over generations. Where did this work happen? Major centers of learning like Corinth, Rhodes, or Alexandria are likely candidates. These ancient hubs buzzed with astronomers, mathematicians, and skilled craftsmen. Imagine the collaborations in those workshops and libraries. The big question: what drove someone to create such a complex device? Inscriptions on the mechanism itself might give us a clue. They describe it as a cosmos in a box. Our ancient inventor was attempting something incredibly ambitious, modeling the entire universe in a portable device. This wasn't just about telling time or predicting eclipses. It was an attempt to capture the very essence of the cosmos, to hold the universe in the palm of your hand. A goal that would challenge engineers even today, let alone over 2,000 years ago. So how did this ancient inventor tackle such a mind-boggling task? Let's explore the complexities of the universe they were trying to model and see just how close they came to achieving the impossible. Imagine staring at a 2,000-year-old hunk of bronze that suddenly starts revealing the secrets of the cosmos. That's what happened when researchers cracked the code of the Antikythera Mechanism, but figuring it out wasn't easy. The researchers had a corroded lump of metal with some gears poking out. They needed to figure out what it did and how it worked. For years, scientists tried to make sense of this thing. Was it a fancy clock? Some kind of navigation tool? They couldn't decipher its full functionality. Then something changed. Researchers started using high-tech imaging tools to peek inside the mechanism without taking it apart. We're talking micro-focus X-ray computed tomography. This tech allowed them to see the internal structure and identify all the gears. And get this, they found at least 30 distinct gears, with some estimates suggesting up to 69 in total. As they pieced together the information, they realized this was a sophisticated astronomical calculator. The Antikythera Mechanism could model the movements of celestial bodies with remarkable accuracy. It incorporated astronomical cycles the ancient Greeks knew about, like the Metonic cycle, a 19-year pattern that aligns the lunar and solar calendars. So what could this ancient computer predict? It tracked the positions of the sun and moon, predicted eclipses, and showed the phases of the moon. It also had a display for the 5 classical planets known to the ancient Greeks: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And it could predict eclipses based on the Saros cycle, an 18-year, 11-day pattern. Tony Freeth, a leading researcher on the Antikythera Mechanism, said, "We've had to rethink the history of technology completely as a result of this single object." But here's the thing, we were only scratching the surface of what the Antikythera Mechanism could do. Its true complexity was yet to be revealed, and the discoveries that followed would prove even more surprising. What other secrets was this ancient Greek computer hiding? Well, that's a whole other story. The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't just a model of the sky. It was a prediction machine that could calculate future astronomical events with remarkable accuracy. This ancient computer used a complex system of gears to translate celestial cycles into mechanical movements. The Greek engineers behind it figured out how to turn the vast movements of heavenly bodies into predictable rotations. Pretty mind-blowing when you think about the math involved. Let's get into the specifics. This device could predict the positions of the sun and moon against the zodiac for any given date, even years into the future, and we're talking precise calculations here. Some were accurate to within half a degree, even after 2 millennia. The mechanism even accounted for the moon's elliptical orbit and changing speed through a clever use of epicyclic gearing, basically gears within gears. Now, how did this stack up against other methods of the time? Well, while other astronomers were making observations and creating tables, the Antikythera Mechanism was doing complex calculations automatically. It was in a league of its own. But here's where it gets really impressive. This ancient marvel could predict eclipses decades in advance, telling you when and where they'd occur with enough accuracy to plan religious festivals or important dates. And that's not all. It had even more cosmic tricks up its bronze sleeve. What other celestial events could it foresee? How did its creators pack so much predictive power into such a compact package? The story of this incredible device is about to get even more intriguing. Let's dive deeper into its capabilities and the genius behind its creation. The Antikythera Mechanism had a surprising connection to the ancient Greek games, including the Olympics. This ancient astronomical computer didn't just track celestial bodies, it also kept tabs on the 4-year Olympiad cycle with incredible precision. The Olympics were more than just a sporting event for the ancient Greeks. They were a cornerstone of their culture, a time when city-states would set aside their differences and compete for glory. But why would an astronomical device care about sports? Well, the Greeks didn't choose random dates for their games. They timed them based on celestial events. The Olympics, for instance, were aligned with the full moon closest to the summer solstice. This ancient computer didn't stop at the Olympics, though. Inscriptions on the device show it was designed to calculate the timing of other major Pan-Hellenic games too, like the Pythian Games and the Nemean Games. Each of these had their own cycles and significance in Greek culture. The Antikythera Mechanism's ability to predict both celestial events and cultural milestones reflects the unique way the ancient Greeks viewed the world. For them, the movements of the stars and planets weren't separate from human affairs. They were all part of one grand cosmic order. This device was like a miniature model of that order, unifying the movements of the heavens with the rhythms of Greek society. But here's where it gets really interesting. The mechanism could tell you when the next Olympics would be years in advance, all while calculating the positions of celestial bodies. It's like having a sports calendar and a star chart combined in one ancient bronze machine. As we continue to study the Antikythera Mechanism, we're left wondering, what other secrets might this ancient computer be hiding? What else could it tell us about how the Greeks saw their place in the cosmos? Each new revelation seems to raise even more intriguing questions about this remarkable device. We've been calling it a Greek invention, but there's a twist in this tale that's about to rewrite history. The Antikythera Mechanism is a 2,000-year-old lesson in global cooperation, blending Greek ingenuity with Babylonian astronomical wisdom. The Babylonians were the rock stars of ancient astronomy. Long before the Greeks were philosophizing about the cosmos, Babylonian priests were meticulously tracking celestial movements. They had complex mathematical models to predict the positions of the sun, moon, and planets. And we're seeing echoes of their work in this Greek device. How did Babylonian ideas end up in a Greek invention? Knowledge has always found a way to travel. Traders, scholars, and conquerors all played a part in this ancient exchange of ideas. After Alexander the Great conquered Babylon, there was a huge influx of Eastern knowledge into the Greek world. Imagine Greek scholars poring over Babylonian clay tablets, trying to decipher their astronomical secrets. The Antikythera Mechanism uses the Saros cycle to predict eclipses, an 18-year pattern that the Babylonians figured out centuries earlier. The inscriptions on the device include the number 223, which is the exact number of lunar months in a Saros cycle. It also incorporates other Babylonian period relations, like the synodic cycles of Venus and Saturn. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Greeks didn't just copy Babylonian ideas, they built on them. They took these numerical relationships and turned them into a physical model of the cosmos. It's like they looked at a Babylonian spreadsheet and thought, what if we made it move? This synthesis of knowledge systems is what made the Antikythera Mechanism so groundbreaking. It's not purely Greek or Babylonian, it's a fusion of the best astronomical knowledge of the ancient world. The result, a device that continues to astound us 2 millennia later, challenging our perceptions of ancient scientific capabilities and cross-cultural collaboration. Speaking of mind-blowing, the Antikythera Mechanism's accuracy is truly remarkable. Even after 2 millennia, it's precise to within half a degree. How did the ancient Greeks achieve this level of precision? And what does it tell us about their technological capabilities? The mechanism's calculations are so accurate, they rival modern engineering. Some parts can predict astronomical events with an error margin of just half a degree. That's more precise than some modern wristwatches, even after 2,000 years of corrosion and damage. There's nothing else from that era that comes close to this level of sophistication. Even centuries later, medieval astronomical clocks couldn't match its precision. We're looking at a technological leap that wouldn't be seen again for over 1,000 years. What makes it so special? The mechanism contains at least 30 gear wheels, with the largest having 223 teeth. These aren't ordinary gears. They're crafted with triangular teeth about 1.6 millimeters in pitch, a level of miniaturization unheard of in the ancient world. But here's where it gets really interesting. The device uses epicyclic gearing, gears within gears. This setup models the variable motion of celestial bodies, especially the moon. The ancient Greeks figured out how to replicate the moon's complex motion using nothing but precisely crafted metal gears. How did they achieve this with ancient techniques? It would have required an incredible understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and metalworking, skills thought to be impossible for that era. Some experts suggest the Antikythera Mechanism represents a level of technological sophistication that puts the Greeks on the brink of an industrial revolution. It's as if they were one step away from changing the course of history. But if they were this advanced, why haven't we found more devices like this? It's a mystery that continues to puzzle researchers and historians. Was the Antikythera Mechanism a one-of-a-kind marvel, or are there more incredible inventions waiting to be discovered? The search for answers continues, both above ground and beneath the waves. As we piece together the puzzle of the Antikythera Mechanism, a nagging question keeps popping up. What if we're only seeing a fraction of its true capabilities? Here's the kicker. only about a third of the original device has been recovered. That's right, we've been amazed by less than half of this ancient Greek gadget. The Antikythera Mechanism is currently split into 82 fragments. It's like trying to figure out how a complex machine works when you've only got a handful of parts. We know it's impressive, but there's a big chunk of the picture we're missing. So how do you figure out what a device can do when most of it is gone? Researchers have had to get creative, using everything from advanced imaging techniques to good old-fashioned detective work. What might those missing pieces have done? Some researchers think there could have been additional gears that calculated the positions of the 5 classical planets: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn, the ones the ancient Greeks knew about. But in 2021, a team of researchers proposed something even more mind-blowing. They suggested the mechanism might have been capable of modeling all known planets. This ancient computer might have been a miniature model of the entire known solar system. How did they figure this out? It's all thanks to some seriously high-tech imaging and a lot of brain power. They've been studying the inscriptions and gear arrangements revealed by these advanced techniques, like they're reading an ancient instruction manual written in metal. Can you imagine what we might learn if we found a complete mechanism? We're talking about potentially rewriting everything we thought we knew about ancient Greek astronomy and technology. The hunt for more information is far from over. Researchers are still combing through the fragments we have, looking for any clue that might shed light on the missing pieces. And who knows, maybe there are more mechanisms out there waiting to be discovered. The search continues, both in labs and under the waves where the first one was found. What other mind-blowing discoveries are waiting for us? While divers searched the seabed for more fragments, researchers in labs were tackling a unique challenge. How do you read a book that's been underwater for 2 millennia and is made of corroded metal you can't open? In 2005, they turned to microfocus X-ray computed tomography, a superpowered X-ray machine that could see through 2,000 years of corrosion. This wasn't your everyday X-ray. We're talking about an 8-ton prototype machine developed specifically for this project. Why such extreme measures? The Antikythera Mechanism is incredibly delicate, and one wrong move could destroy priceless information. This high-tech imaging allowed researchers to examine every detail without risking damage. The results were astounding. Hidden beneath layers of corrosion were thousands of tiny inscribed characters, essentially a user manual for this ancient Greek device. But that's not all. The scans revealed a massive gear with 223 teeth linked to the Saros eclipse cycle. This meant the Antikythera Mechanism could predict eclipses, an ancient Greek computer that could forecast celestial events. That's pretty impressive. Studying this artifact remains challenging. When it was first recovered in the early 1900s, proper conservation techniques didn't exist, leading to additional damage. But as technology advances, we get closer to unraveling its mysteries. What other secrets might this ancient device be hiding? Could there be more inscriptions we haven't found, or additional functions we haven't figured out yet? One thing's certain. The Antikythera Mechanism still has stories to tell. Each new technological leap brings us closer to understanding its full capabilities. The question now is, what will we discover next? We've all heard of user manuals, but a 2,000-year-old computer manual. That's exactly what researchers found with the Antikythera Mechanism. Hidden beneath layers of corrosion were thousands of tiny Greek characters etched all over this ancient device. Deciphering these instructions was no easy task. Scientists used cutting-edge imaging techniques to see the inscriptions that had been underwater for 2 millennia. And then there's the challenge of ancient Greek. Not exactly a common language these days. So what did these ancient instructions reveal? The inscriptions describe the motions of the sun, moon, and all 5 planets known in antiquity. This device was designed to represent an entire ancient Greek cosmos. But there's more. The inscriptions also include details about important astronomical cycles like the Metonic cycle, which aligns lunar and solar calendars every 19 years, and the Saros cycle for predicting eclipses. What makes these inscriptions unique is that they're essentially an instruction manual for a complex mechanical device. That's not something you typically find in ancient Greek literature. The inscriptions suggest this device might have been used for education. Imagine learning astronomy in ancient Greece with a portable planetarium in your classroom. Here's where it gets really interesting. The inscriptions use the term cosmos to describe what the mechanism represents. This isn't just a model of a few celestial bodies, it's an attempt to capture the entire universe in a bronze box. What other secrets might be hidden in the untranslated parts of the text? Could there be information about even more advanced functions, or insights into ancient Greek astronomy we never knew about? This cosmos in a box is forcing us to rethink what we thought we knew about ancient technology. It's challenging our understanding of the history of science and engineering, and who knows, maybe there are even more incredible discoveries waiting to be made. The Antikythera Mechanism's discovery has radically altered our understanding of ancient technological capabilities. This single device has forced us to completely rethink 1,000 years of history. We're now questioning everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. Historians and scientists are debating the implications. Some argue that the Greeks were much closer to an industrial revolution than previously believed. Others think this might be a one-off invention, a technological dead end. Either way, it's clear that our ancestors were far more sophisticated than we've given them credit for. The mechanism challenges specific historical narratives. We used to think precise geared mechanisms didn't exist until the European Middle Ages, but this device has gears as complex as anything made in the 18th century. We also thought analog computers were a modern invention, but now we know the ancient Greeks had them figured out 2 millennia ago. What if the Antikythera mechanism isn't alone? Some researchers point to descriptions in ancient texts of other complex devices. There are stories of mechanical theatres, automatons, and even steam-powered machines. Most of these were dismissed as myths or exaggerations. But now, we're not so sure. The possibility of other amazing inventions lost to history is tantalizing. Maybe there are more ancient computers out there waiting to be found. Or what about advanced navigation tools, medical devices? The Antikythera mechanism has opened up a world of possibilities. Our ancestors were complex thinkers, inventors, and engineers. They were capable of creating technology that can still amaze us today. The Antikythera mechanism stands as a testament to human ingenuity across the ages. It reminds us that brilliance isn't a modern invention. People have been pushing the boundaries of what's possible for thousands of years. And who knows, maybe there are even more mind-blowing discoveries waiting just around the corner. Imagine standing on the deck of a research vessel, staring into the azure waters of the Mediterranean. Beneath the waves lies a 2,000-year-old shipwreck that's changed history. But what if its greatest secret is still down there, waiting to be found? The search for more pieces of the Antikythera mechanism continues. Teams of researchers are planning new expeditions to the shipwreck site, hoping to uncover more fragments of this ancient wonder. Deep-sea archaeology comes with its challenges, though. The wreck site is about 55 meters deep, limiting divers' time and potentially damaging fragile artifacts. Preserving these 2,000-year-old treasures once they're brought to the surface is another hurdle. Despite these obstacles, recent expeditions have yielded exciting results. In 2017, researchers discovered a bronze arm from a statue, along with other bronze and marble statue fragments. They even found a bronze disc that might be part of the Antikythera mechanism itself. What if there's a whole other part of this ancient computer just waiting to be discovered. To overcome the challenges of deep-sea exploration, researchers are turning to technology. They're using underwater drones and remote-operated vehicles with high-resolution cameras to explore areas too dangerous for human divers. These tools allow for more thorough and safer investigations of the site. The potential for future discoveries is mind-boggling. If we found another, more complete mechanism, it could transform our understanding of ancient technology. We've learned so much from just a third of the original device. Imagine what a mostly intact one could reveal. As we continue to search, we're not just unraveling the secrets of the Antikythera mechanism, we're also wondering what other ancient wonders might be hiding beneath the waves or buried in the sand. Our ancestors were capable of incredible things, and the Antikythera mechanism is proof of that. Who knows? The next big discovery could be just one dive away. The Antikythera mechanism is a window into a world we're only beginning to understand. This 2,000-year-old computer reveals that ancient Greek technology was far more sophisticated than previously thought. It challenges our assumptions about what our ancestors were capable of. As we uncover more about ancient ingenuity, questions arise. What other remarkable inventions might be lost to history? The Antikythera mechanism hints at the possibility of undiscovered technological marvels from the past. This ancient device reminds us that human innovation has a long and rich history. People have been pushing the boundaries of what's possible for millennia. It prompts us to reconsider our understanding of ancient civilizations and their capabilities. The Antikythera mechanism's discovery raises intriguing possibilities. How might future archaeological finds reshape our view of history? And in what ways could these revelations influence our approach to modern technological development?